Hey guys, how's it going? It's Target here. Welcome to the first episode of the Buffalo Sabres Be a GM. I had a video the other day revealing the team that we would be using. It was the Buffalo Sabres. Close second were the Detroit Red Wings and the New York Islanders. Also in the mix, the Vancouver Canucks and the Winnipeg Jets, actually. Boston Bruins, too. Boston Bruins were in the mix there as well. So a lot of teams, a nice diverse list, but Buffalo is the team that prevails. Now, this episode is strictly going to be analyzing the roster. I'm going to pose a couple questions out there that you guys can answer, and some possible, solutions for the team going forward, short-term and long-term, how we feel this team will do this year, and what the major plan will be overall. So, let's get into GM options, and let's take a look at our contracts, all right? We're going to start with the main roster, okay? We're going to start by going with overall, and we're going to go our way down. So, I said Matt Moulson was 87. He's actually 86 overall, left-wing sniper. He is 30 years old, 6'1", 200 pounds, a pretty decent player. Good shot. I mean, really good shot, actually. His puck skills are strong. His skating is strong. Defense isn't bad either. His senses are great. I mean, great discipline. Offensive awareness at 87. Just physicality is not that high. If he's a little bit more physical a player, you would see his overall much, much higher. But you know what? Matt Moulson is actually a pretty good shooter comparable to some of the other players that you see in the game. You look at his stats. I mean, he put up 51 points last year, 44 points in 47. That's almost a point per game player right there, Matt Moulson. And then 69 points, like 36 goals that year. So Matt Moulson is a really good player, and he could actually have a great season for us if he was played with the right players. Next highest overall, Tyler Myers. We talked about him in the reveal. 4.5 yellow stars, 24 years old. I don't think you can expect Myers to get much higher than this. Maybe 86, 87 overall, given his age, because he'll get to 25 in the middle of the season. So he's got probably 2.5, maybe 3 years before he's maxed out. And you can see he's about the defense. Really, look at that 4.5 star defense. Really good all around. His shooting's okay. He's got a lot of power, not much accuracy, which is to be expected from bigger guys. Puck skills aren't great, but good enough for passing and puck control. You should see him put up a solid number of points. I mean, he had 22 points. It seems like 20 points is going to be his number. If we can get around 30 from him, I'll be happy. All right, moving along here. Josh Georges, a defensive defenseman. He's 30 years old. All right, he's a good shutdown guy. You see that 5-star defense. He is a great guy that should finish with a lot of pluses. I mean, look, Josh Georges +6, +4, +14. Doesn't put up a lot of points. Does okay for a defensive defenseman, but he doesn't put up a lot of points, and that's to be expected. He'd be a shutdown guy that would complement a high-scoring guy. Maybe not Tyler Myers, but definitely Tyler Myers in the meantime. Cody Hodgson. Now, he's 4 yellow stars, 24 years old. He's got 2 years left to max out. Really good face-offs, actually. Not bad. 76 face-offs, I suppose. For a young guy, that's not bad. Pretty good shot. Could be better. His puck control is great. Hand-eye and deking are both really good as well. Physically, not there. Decent senses. Skating is pretty average. Cody Hodgson is pretty average. I've seen Cody Hodgson get as high as an 89 overall. We might luck out and get that. We may only get the 86 overall Cody Hodgson. It all depends on the year. It really does. Everything comes into play. Because he's probably going to end up with first-line minutes, to be honest. Then we got Drew Stafford, a solid two-way forward. Almost 85s in every category. 85, 86, nothing really higher and nothing really lower. You see the biggest extremes would be fighting skill at 75, endurance at 80, and face-offs at 65. That's pretty much it. Everything else is 84, 85, and 86. So he's a nice balanced player that can play the second line really well. Again, look at that. 34 points, 50 points. Drew Stafford is a consistent player. So I think that, at least for the interim, he's definitely going to be with us. Then we got Tyler Ennis, another 4-star player. He's a playmaker as well, just like Cody Hodgson. He'd be a good number 2 option for this year. 3.5-star defense, though, that is a little bit worrisome, but it's his offensive categories, his puck skills, his shooting, his skating, even his senses that really push Tyler Ennis above and beyond. His size does play a factor. He's really small, 5'9", 169 pounds, just not big enough for a hockey player, unfortunately. So he could be used in a very protected, sheltered minutes role, playing a third line, or a third line and probably playing on the power play. He'd benefit from the most. All right, moving along now. We got Chris Stewart, 3.5 green star. Chris Stewart, 26 years old. He's pretty much maxed out. Like, as soon as the year starts, he's going to be there. So 84 overall is where you're going to see him. Chris Stewart brings the physical edge to the lineup. I mean, look at that body checking. 88 body checking, 89 aggressiveness, and 89 strength. His discipline is not great. He brings okay offensive awareness. For him, it's all about strength, though. I mean, 6'2" and 231. This guy's banging. He's pretty big. So we're gonna use him in a shutdown role, or to complement a nice, diverse, elite, not elite, but skilled player. Like Tyler Ennis would be a good complement for him. Andre Mazzaros, he's 83 overall, two-way defenseman, 28 years old, so he is in his prime now, 6'2", 223. Good defense, like a good shutdown guy. His skating is decent as well for a big guy. And his physical category, though, is lacking. Definitely lacking. The shooting category and his puck skills don't wow me for a two-way defenseman, especially considering he doesn't bring the best physical edge. But he's okay. He's definitely a serviceable defenseman. Moving along, Brian Gionta. This is probably the oldest guy on the team, I think, 35 years old. He's probably the shortest, too, 5'7". Again, another guy that's really just about speed and agility and playing a finesse game. I mean, physical, you're never going to see this guy hitting anybody. 5'7", he'd bounce off him. But his passing is decent, I suppose. He's a good third-line sheltered minutes option. Again, another option for Ryan. Him and, you know what, Tyler Ennis and Chris Stewart would actually be a nice little trio. Marcus Foligno, 81 overall, power forward, 3.5 green stars. I've seen Foligno get up to about 84 overall, sometimes 85. Physically, fantastic. 88 aggressiveness, body checking, and strength already, only at 23 years old. This guy is a bone crusher. And you know what? He could actually be a nice complement, just like Chris Stewart. He's almost a younger Chris Stewart, basically. All right, now you got Zemgus Girgensson, the guy that's leading the way for the All-Star vote. 4 green stars and good face-offs for a young guy. 79 face-offs. His defense could use a little bit of work, but it is coming. Same with the puck skills, same with the shooting. It's all a little bit lower. Definitely a third, fourth line option for us this season. Old googly eyes could use some veteran leadership on his wing. Andre Benoit, an offensive defenseman, 80 overall, 30 years old, 5'11", 191. Doesn't bring anything spectacular, especially offensively. He's more like, look at that. Nothing really, there's no power. Strength isn't even that high. He's basically a forward playing defense is what Andre Benoit is. And at that, I mean, at best, Andre Benoit would be a fourth line forward if you consider him, if you look at him like that. Mike Weber, he's an 80 overall defensive defenseman, 26, so he's pretty much maxed out. Not in the future plans, I don't think. Physically, pretty good. Again, we're probably just going to be icing the team that we have and not make any drastic changes, but it's nice to see. Rasmus Ristolainen actually kind of looks like Zemgus Girgensson's a lot, actually. He can actually get up really high. I mean, he's 4 green stars. You could see Rasmus get to an 85, 86, maybe even an 87 overall, considering he's only 19 years old and 79 overall. He's got a lot of upside here, and I could definitely see using him in the future. I mean, physically, really good. Passing and puck control could use some improvement, but he's young, so there's tons of room for growth there. Torrey Mitchell, 79 overall, 2-way forward. Plays center, 60 faceoffs. Not exactly something you want on the back end. I don't see Torrey Mitchell having a place for us. I don't even see... there's no excuse I don't think that I could give that would justify him playing on the team right now. You know, even with our shitty club as it is. It's just not good enough. Torrey Mitchell, sorry, buddy. And then it gets right down here. You got Cody McCormick, a grinder. He's got 77 faceoffs. I'd almost use him over Torrey Mitchell. Nikita Zadorov, 4 yellow star, big guy, 6'5", 229 pounds, and he's only 19 years old. At 4 yellow stars, Nikita can get up there, and sometimes he's an absolute dud, and he'll only go up 1 overall. He has to be played in the right situation, not rushed. Played in the AHL, give him that opportunity to learn the game, and then he can jump up to the NHL eventually, all right? So he has in the future plans. Patrick Coletta, a 75 overall grinder. I don't think I really need to spend much time on him. Doesn't really bring anything special, but a physical force. Even, senses suck. So Patrick Coletta, probably not anything further than this year. Nicholas Delorier, 74 overall defensive defenseman. He's 23 years old, 6'1", 230, big heavy kid. But again, you're never going to see this kid get higher than 77, 78 overall, maybe. Brian Flynn, power forward, 74 overall, 3 yellow stars. He's maxed out. Brian Flynn is a waste. We could trade him for a draft pick. Now, let's take a look at what's in the system, all right? So, Mark Pysyk, a 4 yellow star, original Edmonton Oil King, 81 overall, 22 years old, and he could get up there. I mean, he's already 81 overall. He can play in the NHL today. I'm actually surprised he's 81. Because I think I played before and he's only got to a 79 or something like that. Oops. Where the hell did he go? Oh, it's on forwards now. So 81 overall, he could play in the NHL today. So that's nice. Mark Pysyk. He's not really in the system. He's kind of part of the future. I mean, his defense is already pretty good. His shot is not bad. It could get better. A two-way defenseman, give him some opportunity to play, and you're golden. Zach Dalpe, 24 years old, 3.5 green stars, 79 overall. This kid could get better really quickly, given the right circumstances. I mean, he's 4.5-star skating, 3-star physical, 3-star defense. You know, it could get, the defense could be better. I mean, for a centerman at 60 faceoffs, not great, and that doesn't improve, which is kind of one of the sad things about this game is faceoffs just do not go up. So he'd be good as a winger. And he's still young. Then we got Mikhail Grigorenko. He's 79 overall center, 75 faceoffs actually, and 4.5 yellow stars. That's the big thing right there for Mikhail Grigorenko. He was drafted, what was it, 12th overall by Buffalo in 2012. Yeah, there you go. So not bad. Needs some seasoning down in the AHL. Give him some time. Don't rush him. We got Johan Larsson, 3.5 green star sniper. I've seen Johan Larsson get as good as an 85. So given the right circumstances, again, this kid could be good. Not as a center, though. 60 faceoffs, not something that I want down the middle. Luke Adam, power forward, 78 overall. Luke Adam could jump up. I mean, look at his faceoffs. It's even 77. He could be an effective forward in the NHL immediately. He could play that, pardon me, that fourth line really well. Phil Verone, 76 overall, 2.5 yellow stars. A guy that's destined for the AHL, basically. Not much there. Strachan, we're not going to look at Strachan, 29 overall, 76 overall, 29 years old, maxed out. Ellis, 2.5 white stars, maxed out, 76 overall, 33. Like, these guys are just a waste. Then there's Sam Reinhart, boy wonder, 4.5 yellow stars, 18 years old, 74 overall, 63 faceoffs. Now, that's not great for a centerman, but you know what? When you get a kid like this who could potentially reach 91, 92 overall, you kind of don't worry so much about the face-offs, and you just let him play his position. But, I mean, his puck skills and senses, actually, are already 4.5 stars, and he's only 18 years old. So, it's the other categories that'll help boost his overall. Everything else is really good. He's going to have a great year down in the WHL. And then we got Joel Armia, 4 yellow stars, 74 overall playmaker. He's a good skilled player, too. You know, he's got lots of room to grow. Rudwell, not really much to talk about there. Jake McCabe, a two-way defenseman, 73 overall, 3.5 green stars. Good balance so far for a young guy, especially I find young defensemen, their defense is not very great, but he's already at 80 in pretty much everything except for faceoffs, obviously. So defensive awareness 78, shot blocking 80, stick checking 80, those are all really nice categories for him. He'll come along really nicely, I think. Schaller, I don't know how to say that, Tim, 3 yellow stars, not really destined for anything. Catenacci, 2.5 yellow stars, not destined for anything. Nicholas Baptiste, 68 overall power forward, 3.5 yellow stars, 19 years old. Got some room for growth. He's already got a great shot. It's the other categories that definitely need to bump up. He could get to about 79, maybe 81 overall for Nick Baptiste. We'll see. He's got a long way to go. William Carrier, 4 yellow stars. He's 19. Good shot, two-way forward. Great face-offs for a winger, too, actually. So you could actually play him at center, and he'd be very effective there. So William Carrier, another nice option for us. We got Jerome Leduc, an offensive defenseman. Not much there. Colin Jacobs, power forward. Not much there. Justin Kia, 67 grinder. Not much there. And then we got a couple guys that aren't signed. Eric Cornell, 66 overall. 73 faceoffs. That's not bad for young kids. 18 years old. He could get there if he has a couple really good developmental years. We got Brendan Lemieux, 4 Red Stars. These guys are always a gamble. Red Stars, you never really know how you're going to turn out. 66 overall. Give him some time and he'll come up the system really nicely, hopefully. Martin, 3 Green Stars. I only mentioned it because, I mean, I skipped Bailey here. He could get there, but 62 overall sniper, 3.5 red. I doubt it. Martin, probably not. Karabasic, I think is how you say that. Vaclav Karabasic, 60 overall, 3.5 red stars. Now we got to look at our goalies. That's one thing we didn't look at. In the system, we don't have anybody. We got Lewin, Allmark, and Johansson, and none of them are really potential. I mean, they're all 3 stars, 2 of them yellow, 1 red. So really not much. If you look current on the main roster, we got a couple good options here. You got Michael Neuwirth, 85 overall. 26 years old, he's pretty much there. That's where he's going to sit, probably 85, maybe 84, 86, depending on how bad or good a year he has. Jonas Enroth, 3.5 yellow stars, almost maxed out as well. And then Matt Hackett promises to be a pretty good prospect. We'll play him in the minors, I think, right off the bat. Pardon me. And then, depending on how the season goes, maybe if we end up trading Enroth, we'll call him up. Otherwise, we'll give him a little bit of time to season down there and get a little bit better. All right, so I think that's everybody we've gone through. So a couple things I want to remind everybody about is some of the rules that we are initiating for this year's Be a GM. Let me just see if I have my little note. I want to make sure I get them all. I think I may have closed it. I did close it. That's okay. That's okay. Not a big deal. Number 1 was we cannot trade draft picks besides the ones for the current year and the next year. You never see people trading 2021 draft picks. It's not fair. The value seems to be way too high for those picks when you don't really know where that team's going to finish. So just the current year and the next year are in play. The other rule that we are adding is, well, not adding, but changing is instead of multiplying the contract by 0.85, so 85% of what they're asking, we're going to give them 90%. Somebody suggested 95, but I think we're going to give them only 90%. And just split the difference between the two, because we will run into cap space issues, and it is a video game in the end. I don't want to push things. The other things we're going to be doing, obviously, is maintaining still that we can only do trades during the regular season if they are green and red. So the team wants to get rid of them, and the team wants them, basically. They have to be an even trade. What else did I say? There were a couple other things. Oh, the other thing that I mentioned was you cannot have more players filling a role than roles available. Sorry, it's kind of confusing. Basically, the way it is if you have 3 first-line players, you cannot have a 4th. All right? Even if you're playing them all in different lines, you cannot have a 4th one. All right? But if you have 2 first-line players, you can then have 4 second-line players, 4 third-line players, all depending on how you want to stack those up. That we are not doing. All right? We are not going to do that. For the most part, we won't even have that issue. But one thing that I definitely want to focus on with this series is drafting and developing prospects, being patient with prospects, all right? And if there's guys that I feel that deserve to retire with the Buffalo Sabres, they will retire with the Buffalo Sabres, all right? We'll run them into the ground. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's some guys that are lifers. Pardon me. Now, the Buffalo Sabres don't really have lifers, but that's okay. You guys kind of get what I'm getting at, because what I used to do was I'd get a goalie, run him till he's about 36, trade him when his value is high for a young guy that's going to be great, the next great thing, and that's not really fair. That keeps the onus on me to keep the cupboard stocked with top prospects, guys that are going to develop. And then if we need to get rid of the old guy, that's fine. At that point, we'll trade him for picks or prospects or things like that, serviceable players on the 3rd and 4th line, salary dump type things. All right. So that's what we're going to do for this year. Now, I need some suggestions from you guys how we play out this year. Who stays? Take a look through the rosters again. Who stays and who goes? If we are dead in the water, do we start trading away veteran talent for picks? Is that something we do early, or is that something we do with the draft, or is that something we even do at all? And who are those players? Who qualifies as one of those players that we dump? Because if you look at our lines, is that Drew Stafford? Is that Matt Molson? Is that Chris Stewart? Is that Brian Giunta? Torrey Mitchell? What about defense? Josh Georges, Andre Mazzaros, Benoit. What kind of guys are we getting? Are we getting rid of Enroth? So let me know, guys, down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think we should do. Should we rock the lineup like this? Because if I go best lines, it's pretty much a pretty good lineup right there. Ennis, Molson, Stafford. Actually, I'd probably switch. Whoop. I'd probably switch Ennis and Hodgson around. Because I think Hodgson has a better chance to be an elite player than Ennis. Then he plays with Stewart and Gianto. That's a nice compliment right there. Is that what we do? Do we play it like this, or do we make some changes now? Like, there's tons of options, guys. Throw them out there. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this series. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a different team, so let's look forward to another great year, okay? So until next time, I'm Target Audience. Don't forget to please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget Twitter @TargetAud18. And I'll catch you guys out on the ice.